multi, if it's multiple, or okay, so let's look at our hair. You're going to make a bracket: hair, nails, and glands. The three of them are derived from the epidermis. They are epidermal derivatives. So, if they are all derived from the epidermis, can you tell me what is the tissue type then? The tissue type? Epithelium, very good, right? If they're derived from the epidermis, they are all epithelium. If you look at it under the mic, don't forget that for your final exams, right? What is the basic tissue type of the following? If you see hair, nails, or anything that ends in the word gland, automatic, it's epithelium. Okay? You. So let's look at the hair first. Look at your hair. This is how it looks like. Oh, who's that one? So look at your hair. It's actually epithelium, and then but it's embedded in your epidermis. It's embedded in your dermis. So this, what do you call the cells that make up your hair? Keratinocytes. There's keratinocytes there too, right? The cells that we studied, the Langerhans cells, they're here too. That's why we have our hair color also, okay? But so there's two parts to the hair. The part that you don't see, what do you call it? Root. The part that you see is called shaft. And so I'm going to look at the root all the way down there. This is the part that's embedded in your dermis. You remember the dermis is the part that has the blood supply. So in the root, there is what you call the follicle. And that's where the stratum basale of your epidermis, that's where increased cell division. So how does hair grow? Just divide, 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 and push, push, push up. So eventually, when it gets so far from blood supply, what happens to the hair? It falls off. You know that when sometimes they can do hair analysis and then they can find out if you were being poisoned by maybe your whoever, right? The reason is the poison from your boyfriend. Sorry, that's not a good story. But when you watch, sometimes I did hair analysis and there's positive, right? So, because look at whatever poison is in the blood is going to be used here, right? And then as it goes up there, it becomes part of this hair. So you just do a sample analysis. They can. Don't they do that also to test for the steroids or something?
Yeah, it's nice.
They can test it from the hair also. Okay, that's because see blood supply. So anyway, that's why they can do that. And I want you to write down the types of hair that you need to know. So, lanugo is the hair that covers the baby when the baby is born. You know that? You familiar with the lanugo? Have you ever seen the newborn baby, right? They have that. It's referred to as the downy hair that covers your baby. And then, once the baby is born, the lanugo converts to terminal or vellus. Terminal is the dark pigmented coarse hair. So, we are born with terminal hair here, right? In our eyebrows and eyelashes, that's terminal hair. You see how it is? It's coarse. And then vellus hair is the peach fuzz right here. Okay, you see the difference? Can you tell? Okay. And then when we hit puberty, some of the vellus hair becomes terminal hair. Like in males, you see the beard over there, right? The axillary hair, the pubic hair becomes terminal. Okay? So if I ask you, where do you find vellus hair? Where do you find terminal hair? You know, right? You understand? Okay? So that's all I want you to know about the hair. Next, we look at our glands. For the integumentary system, we will limit our study to exocrine glands. They secrete outside to a surface. Endocrine glands, that's the topic, that's your first chapter in for Bio 240. They secrete their products into the blood. So for here, it's exocrine. And there's two general types of exocrine glands for your endocrine system. You have your sudoriferous glands and your sebaceous glands. Sudoriferous glands, which make sweat, right here, see? And then the sebaceous glands, which make sebum or oil. Okay? You know the function of sudoriferous sweat glands, right? For thermoregulation, you sweat so that when the heat leaves you, you feel better. It's very important to sweat, right? Remember, your organs inside, they need normal temperature so they can do their job. Your GI tract, your heart, everything here. If it's too hot, they will suffer. So that's why you have to channel all that heat, and the blood is the one that will deliver that heat to your sweat glands. And then the sweat, and that's how, so it makes sweat. By the way, with the sweat is urea, right? So it makes the sweat, puts it in the ducts right here, and then so they're here in the ducts, and then the heat from the blood, you see, it will evaporate down, so they're forced out from the heat, they go out, and then you sweat it out. So that's good, at least the heat is out of your body. So now let's look at your, by the way, some of the sweat glands, remember it's a merocrine type of secretion. Some of them, when we hit puberty, they will be converted to your, they give you body odor, apocrine secretion. That's too much for you to learn. But it's just because of sex hormones. When the sex hormones become increased in the blood, then it changes your, the sweat here becomes more prone to action of the bacteria, so you start smelling. Body odor is called bromhidrosis. Okay. Now let's look at our sebaceous
What
glands.
is this? Wait, let me see really fast.
Bromhidrosis. Sebaceous gland. Anywhere there's hair, you will find sebaceous gland. And look at the magnified view of your sebaceous gland. Doesn't it look like oil, right? Because that is what sebaceous glands make. They make sebum, which is oil. So is there a function to, you see? Be sure to focus. Be sure to know how a sebaceous gland looks like and how a sweat gland looks like under the microscope. Okay, you have skin there. So, what is the function of oil? Sebum. Is there a function to, people don't like oily hair, but is there a function? Why do we have oiliness secreted?
To feed the, I know, because it's dead. I don't know.
Prevent dehydration.
Oh, very good. Isn't it to prevent dehydration, right? From your head, you can get dehydrated there, right? Also, sebum has an acidic pH. The acid pH of the oil prevents bacterial growth. You know that you always have bacteria on you? You heard of this term acid mantle? So, Our skin, in fact, is covered by an acid mantle, the composition of which is oil and sweat. And so they create an acidic covering, which is very effective in preventing that bacteria from having sneaky intentions, right? They may want to just invade you. So the acid at least prevents them from multiplying and causing possible harm. You understand? Okay? So that's our sebaceous gland. And now we go to our nails. Oh, there are modified sweat glands, the ceruminous glands and mammary glands. We're going to study them when we get to the specific body system where we will find them. Okay? But they're also exocrine glands. They release their products into an outside surface. Now we go look at our nails. This is also epidermis, which is stratified squamous epithelium made up of keratin. That's why they have that. What is it? You buy in Costco keratin. They say for healthy nails, etc., etc. Right? Why don't you just eat your protein, right? Instead of buying that keratin. Okay. So look at. There's also the nail root. Where's the healthy part? And then keeps dividing. Push, push, push the nail out. So your nail constantly grows. Nails are the part. This is the part that I don't like. I just hate nails. I cut it to the point that it burns for a few days. So my husband doesn't allow me to cut my daughter's nails. I just get paranoid. I have very rough skin because I always wash, especially when it comes to preparing my daughter's food. Always, always wash. But the nails are really, they say nails are for friction. This is one of the parts of the body that you will appreciate when you lose it. When you lose a nail and you start trying to hold something, you say, it is true. It's important for friction, for stabilization, so you can hold on something. Or if you've ever lost a toenail, don't you feel it? I've done. You've lost a toenail too. I've lost a toenail too. So did you feel that it's like it's harder to walk, isn't it? It's important for grabbing, for holding on, like the
Claws.
animals. Yeah, the chicken. So there, and that's for us too. Okay, but that part.
So are we supposed to grow them out so they curve?
I don't
I
think
don't-
toenails actually help you that much. I think it's just a vestigial thing. Because monkeys
The
have.
claws? No, you're not supposed to grow them out for claws. Okay? Okay. So you understand now skin cancer. At least you're able to explain to your friends about skin cancer. Okay? I want to talk about your test, your coming up test. You can take it with a friend. I'm sorry, not with a partner if you want. You can take it on your own. It's chapter 1 to 3. Okay? So, because I may forget, your test is next Thursday, right? So, chapter 1, 2, and 3. You should know now definition of anatomy and physiology, right? It says here anatomy is structure, page 1, and then physiology concerns the function of the body. So, what do you think? If I talk about, let's say, did I ever give you a pop quiz yet?
Yeah, no, I think
No.
that's what it was.
No? Oh, okay.
You threatened it last
So
class.
what do you think if I say that the heart is a four-chambered organ that is located medial to the lungs? Is that an anatomy statement or physiology statement?
Anatomy.
Yes. The stomach secretes pepsin for digestion of proteins in the body. Physiology. Okay, so you should know the difference between the two. You know now this figure 1.1, the definition of terms. Your atom, molecule, organelle, cell. Okay, you know that. Figure 1.1, you know that already, hopefully. Then you also know that all your cells are busy maintaining 1.4, which is page 8, homeostasis, which generally operates on a negative feedback mechanism, but positive feedback also sometimes work. The predominant though is negative feedback, right? Then you know anatomical terms, figure 1.7. Directional terms, table 1.1, you know that hopefully. This one, the anatomical terms, the nasal part, the occipital part, then directional terms, which is superficial, superior, inferior. You should also know your body planes, a transverse cut, sagittal, frontal cut. The body cavities, figure 1.9. And then for the regions, I want you to master the 9 regions, figure 1.12. The 9 regions.
1.12.
The hypogastric region, the umbilical region. And then for your atoms, chapter 2, I said you should be able to draw an atom. And there are 3 parts to an atom, right? In your drawing, you should include the protons, neutrons, and the electrons. You should know how to distribute your electrons following the octet rule, right? 2 in the first shell, and then 8 and 8 in the next. Okay? So, the chemical bonds, ionic, covalent, which is the most abundant covalent, the most abundant chemical bonds. And then there's 2 types of covalent, right? The polar, non-polar, and then hydrogen bonds. Then your compounds, inorganic and organic compounds. Water being the most abundant inorganic, and then the organic carbohydrates, you should know it's also called polysaccharides. Basic building blocks is your monosaccharide, which is glucose. You should know the function, okay? And then your lipids, you have figure 2.16, you have the 3 types there, triglyceride, phospholipid, and your steroid. And it says here, don't forget this all the way, all the way. It says cholesterol is the basis for all steroids formed in the body. And then your polypeptides or your proteins, basic building blocks, are your amino acids. 2.10, page 47. Okay. Then, of course, you have your nucleic acids, 2.11, DNA and RNA. You have your ATP, 2.12, for energy. And then chapter 3, like I said, usually there will be a picture of the cell, and then you will be asked to, it will just be pointing, you'll be asked to label and give the function. Don't forget that. And of course, this one right here, because it's important to me, this isotonic, hypertonic, hypotonic, very important. And once that, so you should know all the organelles that we talked about, right? What does the mitochondria do, etc., etc. Okay? The microtubules.
Can you summarize centrosomes again? You said they were like a military or something like that.
Centrosome?
Or centriole. Yeah, centriole.
Centriole, military? No, centrioles for cell division.
Just for
For
the
alignment.
spindles.
Yeah, they're the little.
The spindles, the tubules for spindles, yes.
I thought those.
So table 3.3 is a nice summary of everything, all the parts of the cell. Then you remember figure 3.28, I said once the cell is formed, it's either, if it's alive, it's either not dividing. If it's not dividing, it's in interphase. And if it's dividing, you have mitosis or meiosis, right? So be able to know or recognize a cell in prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. I told you that, right? Be able to do that and remember how many chromosomes, how many cells, etc., etc. If it is in interphase, it is devoting its time to making proteins, figure 3.30. Protein synthesis. This is a nice summary of protein synthesis. Transcription in the nucleus where RNA is formed, and then that RNA is expressed into the protein right here in your cytoplasm. Genetic expression, that's translation. If it's not alive, it's dead. And that dead It's either apoptosis, figure 3.12, page 109, you see apoptosis, and you all go all the way down. It says apoptosis is programmed cell death. In other words, it's normal cell death. But you can also, cells can also die abnormally. That's necrosis. So your test up to only chapter 3, and then you also get that advantage of taking it with a partner if you want. Students have taken it on their own and they still did well. Plus, there will be extra credit on top of that. So take advantage. I think it will be 90 points, so it's only worth 8.
Is
So-
it gonna be here in the class or like is it gonna be online?
No, it will be at my house. I'm just kidding.
And barbecue.
We'll have a barbecue.
Just kidding. It's gonna be here.
Okay.
Okay, so now I have a little worksheet for you guys. This is a graded test, but you can open your books, you can open your notes. I don't care. Histology. Okay. The first question is asking you list 2 organelles for each of them. So you think organelles. What are the organelles? The mitochondria, the those are the organelles. So you just read it. You can partner up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, if you want to partner up, you can do that. If you want to take it on your own, you can do that. Then after you're done with this one, I want you to use the rest of the time period looking at your microscopes. Most of you took pictures of the wrong slide. When I looked at it, when you left, it was all moved. So you be sure that you took the right picture. Okay?
Is it the same slide?
It's the same slide, it was just moved.
I mean, are they still the same slides today?
Yes, they're the same. I just moved it back now to the correct so you can open your books, just no internet, okay? Not your book, PowerPoints, notes, that's okay. I just don't like internet. Don't ask Siri.
Where's my book in my phone?
It's always helpful.
Are we allowed to write on the paper or?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this lucky class.
Because I forgot to say it this morning, so
So about the laptop.
I'm probably not gonna write on it anyways.
I like it, just like I just move first.
Sorry. It was very on the lips.